Okay, guys, and so what we're doing right now is so we had Chun-Li working in these directions, and so like switching directions between idle animations. And what we wanted to do now was just do a little bit of collision detection. And so if we see what's happening now, we have a fireball colliding with Chun-Li. Okay. This side probably needs to be fixed, or maybe this other side needs to be fixed, but this one, it looks like it collides a little bit inward into the body. And so we'll probably look at that. Let me log into this over here. Okay, and so let's go ahead and implement this inside of our code base. Let's see here. Let me go ahead and get to the tutorials. I don't know why they just weren't up, but no big deal. Oops. Okay, and so this is where we left off last time, adding in the frame count and all that jazz. Okay, so the first thing we need to do to make this happen is we need Chun-Li and Ken to have 3 sets of boxes around them. Okay, so they're going to be hurt boxes, which if this player has a collision with its hurt box from an enemy or an opponent hit box, then they're going to get hurt. And so they also need hit boxes so that we know that there's a collision, with the other opponent's hurt box. And then there's another thing called a push box. And so what a push box helps ensure is that the players are not occupying the same space, so that when they're if I'm walking against a player and they're not walking against me, I could probably push them out of the way. All right, and vice versa. Or if I jump onto a player, it's going to force the player a little bit to the left or right, and so that we're not occupying the same space, like I said. Okay, so those are the 3 types of boxes that are pretty much in every fighting game. So what we're going to do is, and you probably guessed it, we need, and this is why there are not a whole lot of tutorials on fighting games, and they're just so tedious to make, is because for every animation sequence and every sequence or every sprite or frame within that animation sequence, there is a different hit, hurt, and push box. Okay, sometimes they're the same, but generally they change based on that sequence. And so what that means is that you actually have to go through and painstakingly figure out where these boxes are, get their x and y's and their width and heights in relation to the player and in relation to the player 1x and player 1y. And so we will be going through that. And so there is a very cool site. Don't know if I have it pulled up, so let's see here. Let's see, Street. And yes, so this site, although we're doing the original Street Fighter World Warrior, the hitboxes are very similar. So I'm just going to go to Ken, and these are all his animations. Okay, and so some of these were not in the World Warrior, but they will still do. So if we look at this, what we see is we see his hurt boxes, And then we see in the green, we see his push box. And so this push box is what should not be occupying a space with another player. And these hurt boxes, we have 3. Why do we have 3? Well, we have 3 because it helps us identify the area in which Ken was hit. So if he gets hit in the head, there may be a different hurt animation than if he gets, swept on the feet or if he gets punched in the body. Okay? And so that's essentially what's going on here. And if we go through this, you start to see that these boxes change throughout an animation. Okay? Right here, I mean, this is prime. So we have these hit boxes, and they are constantly changing throughout the whole animation sequence. And so that makes developing a fighting game a very painstaking process because you have to figure out where all these are. And I think I think Guile actually has a hitbox or a hurt box that is out of sync with a particular frame in one of the original Street Fighters. And so, it was only discovered later on, but the developers may have missed it. Maybe they put it in there, just because. But I think they missed it because it's just a painstaking process, and errors can occur. But so that's exactly what we're doing. We're gonna kind of start to implement these boxes, and you're thinking, man, that's going to be a lot of work. Well, the truth is I've done a lot of the work for us. Now, there are many of these animations that I have not. Okay. And so what we're doing within this tutorial series is not to have a fully functioning, every move added game at the end. I'm basically getting you to a semi-complete game where if you wanted to, you could add some of these features later on, or you could add new features. So I'm trying to give you that background knowledge that will allow you to fully flesh out this game on your own. And so let's get to it. So we have an idea of what's going on. And so what we want to do is, for Ken Idle, we're going to define some boxes. Oops. So we're going to say, let Ken Idle hurt boxes equal. Okay. And so these are going to equal an array. And so in this array, I probably should have just did this. Okay, so in this array, we're going to have basically something like this. Okay, it's going to have, it's going to have an object that is going to be an x, y, width, and height. And so this one, for the hurt boxes, is going to be P1x plus 21. Okay. Okay, the y is going to be P1y plus 18. And we are going to actually look at these and see exactly what's going on and how we're getting these numbers. So 17, and then the height is going to be 15. Okay, so let's actually look at these and figure out where we're getting these numbers, because that's super important. So let's see here. We got so Ken. It doesn't really matter which one we're doing. So here we're just going to open with GIMP. And if you have a some kind of image editor or whatever, you can do it within there. So let's use the select tool, rectangular select. All these boxes are going to be rectangles anyways. So let's say that we're looking at the hurt boxes. There are going to be 3 hurt boxes. There might be a hurt box here. Okay. There might be a hurt box here. And then there might be another hurt box here. And what I would ideally do is be looking at that Dr. Guile website to figure out exactly where these hurt boxes were. And so let's just say that we are dealing with this hurt box right here, okay? And so this hurt box, my poorly, it would be based on that website, but let's just say that this is the corresponding hurt box. And so this hurt box starts at 24,144, okay? 24,144. And it ends down here at 39,158. So it has a width of 15 and a height of 14. So we know the width and the height, and we know that it starts at 24,144. I'm going to write this down real quick because I will forget that number. 24,144. And now what we want to do is look at where Chun-Li actually is, okay? Probably should have been looking at this in the idle animation, but let's just do it in relation to the idle animation, okay? So here we know Chun-Li idle, it starts at 0, 0, okay? So if this starts at 0, 0, oh wait, maybe, is this the, no, this is not the best one to do. Let's do one that, so this is the idle. Let's say it's right here. Let's say that the dimensions are 14 by 15 or whatever we said. And it starts at 19 and 35, okay? If it starts at 19 and 35 here, we're doing that in relation to Chun-Li's X and Y. So Chun-Li's X and Y is 0, 0, which is actually somewhere up here, okay? And so what we want to do is always do it in relation to X and Y, because the hurt box on the game screen is going to be in relation to that X and Y. So this hurt box is actually going to be P1X plus 19 and P1Y plus 35, since that is where the player starts, somewhere up here. And so the hurt box is always in relation to that P1X and P1Y. So that's a little bit about how we found these numbers. Okay, and so we have this, and so we need, it looks like 2 more boxes, or just 1 more box. Get rid of this. And so the second box of the idle animation is P1X plus 10. Oh, this should be a plus, I suppose. And so this is going to be P1X plus 10. And so this is going to be the body box, okay? And so it looks like there should be another box that is the feet, but we'll get to that later on, okay? Right now, Chun-Li doesn't do any sweeps, and so I guess I just didn't put that in because of that reason. But this is going to be P1Y plus 31, so it's lower down on the screen, which makes sense because it's the body, and it has a width of 20 and a height of 68, so it covers pretty much the whole body. So that's the hurt box. And so now what we're going to do, and I'm just going to put this up here. And so what we're going to do now is define the hitbox. Now there are no hitboxes. Makes it easy. We're in an idle state, and so there is no hitting going on. And this is going to be push boxes. And guess what? There is a push box, but we are not handling that logic yet. So we're just going to leave this blank for now. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, this was just like, we actually defined these properties elsewhere in the code. So if these were just set to empty arrays for right now, that is perfectly fine because we actually update those boxes for every frame later on in the code. So these get overwritten either way, okay? And so that's exactly what we're going to do for can idle mirror, is we're just going to set up an empty array just so that we have it. And so we have this now. And so that's just kind of, you know, really this doesn't matter yet, okay? Because, you know, Chun-Li's not hitting Ken. But what we will have is a fireball hitting Chun-Li. So it matters more importantly for Chun-Li. And so for Chun-Li, we're going to set up those same boxes. We have Chun-Li idle hurt boxes, Chun-Li idle push, and Chun-Li idle hit. These are in reverse, or some not the same order as above. And so these are going to be mirror idle. So here we're just going to say mirror, and I'm going to copy that. Okay, and so we've set up our boxes. And then one other thing we need to do is we can't have all these different boxes within the code. We need a unified box, okay? So just like hurt boxes and push boxes and hit boxes. And after every frame, you know, the hurt boxes may change based on the animation, but if we're checking the actual hurt boxes, we should have like a unified variable called hurt boxes and push boxes. And so that's what we're going to do down here. We're going to say let P1 hurt boxes. And so I'm just going to copy these and change that 1 to a 2. Oops. Okay, perfect. And so now the bulk of our next logic just goes inside a draw projectile. But before we do draw a projectile, like I said, we need to update those boxes every frame. And so I don't want to forget about doing that. And so over here, we are going to go ahead and do that logic. So we're going to create a new function. And so this is where some of the tedium comes into play. So we're going to say function update boxes. And so we're going to say can idle hurt boxes is equal to, and then I'm actually going to copy it over. I'm kind of pressed for time right now, and I want to finish this video. And so here I have, and you can go ahead and pause this. In fact, I'm going to put all of them in, and you can pause it. But basically what's happening here is we're updating all the boxes. So if we're in the can idle animation, we're updating these boxes because the P1X is changing constantly, okay? And the P1Y is changing constantly. So we need to do this within the actual game loop, because if we just rely on, say, this right here, it is doing it as a snapshot on this 190, and so it would forever be 190 plus 21, and your hurt box would always stay in the same location. And so we need to do it based on the current P1X, and so that means it has to go within the code. So we'll just call this function update boxes, and we're going to go ahead and put it into our code. And so These do include the push boxes, and we will get to that logic later on. I don't want to just pull them out since it was such an easy copy and paste. But the next thing that we're going to do is go inside of draw projectiles. Okay, and so inside of draw projectiles, we this is if the projectile, the player one projectile, is going right. And so if it's going right, it's going to hit Chun-Li in her. So if she is in the mirror idle position, I suppose. So let's see here. So what do we want to do here? Well, we want to loop through the P2 hurt boxes. All right. And so we're just going to create a for loop here. And so inside our for loop, we're going to say let, because we are currently looping through the projectiles with I. So we need the new variable. So we're going to say let j equals 0 while j is less than P2 hurt boxes dot length, and then j plus plus. Okay, and so now we just need an if statement to see if the two boxes, the projectile and the hurt box, are colliding. Okay, so here we're going to say if. So if what? Well, if P1 projectiles at I dot x is less than P2 hurt boxes at j dot x plus P2 hurt boxes plus j, or hurt boxes at j dot width. Okay, so the hurt box is x plus the width, and if this is less than that, then you know there might be a collision. So we're going to just do an and statement here that says and I'm just going to copy that because it is very similar. So and this is going to be plus, and I think there is a width for a projectile, but right now we'll just say hard-coded at 25. And so hurt boxes at j and x, so that looks good. And we'll do an and statement here. And this is going to be P1, and this is going to be the y. In fact, I could probably just copy this. And so this can be y less than y and height. And then we'll go ahead and put this in there. And so this is going to be y. Apologize for that. And this is going to be 25, so it is a 25 by 25, and this is going to be y here. Okay, so here is the complete projectile collision if statement. And so if it does collide here, we just want to say P1 projectiles dot splice I to 1. So we're just going to splice it starting at I, and we're going to go one past that. And so basically we're just going to splice the index at I. Okay, and there's some other logic in here. We're just going to say, and I'm just going to set this up for later on. And so if P1 x is less than P2 x, you know, something may happen. Okay, we might want to set a damage or a hurt sequence, so getting hit in the face or something like that. And then if it's not, we're going to do another sequence, and then we are just going to break out of this loop. So we're going to say break loop P1. Okay. So this looks great. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just copy this. And so what we're going to do is we're going to come down here to the left direction and paste it in. And the left direction is pretty much going to be similar, but the thing is that we'll just do a greater than sign here. And so there's really not a whole lot of difference, except we need to do it down here as well, because this is only colliding if it's going right, and so we need it down here as well, but we need it specifically inside this if statement, because the Chun-Li animation for after getting hit is going to be different. Okay, so this will be a hit facing left, this will be a hit facing right, or whatever, and so we need it within for that reason. And so this looks fine, and I'm pretty sure this is all we need. Let's go ahead and just run it, see what happens. We get some errors, and I will inspect. Can idle hurt boxes has already been declared. So 47. So this is just can idle mirror. Okay, forgot to do that. Can idle mirror hitboxes, can idle mirror push boxes. Okay, so those are clearly different. So far so good. I'll blow it up just so we can all see. And let's go ahead and inspect that, see if we get any errors. Okay, not seeing any errors. Let's go over here and see if it's colliding on this way. Okay, and so we're not colliding there either. Okay, now why not? Oh, okay, so this is draw projectiles. Let's go to draw player 1. So if we're drawing player 1, let's see here. I bet it's in controls. Okay, so inside of controls, we are passing in player states. Maybe this is not where it is at. Okay, maybe not. Although this doesn't really matter, because ultimately what is the issue is Chun-Li. Okay, so Chun-Li somewhere she is not being updated with her hurt boxes and hit boxes, and so let's look at draw player 2. Okay, so function draw player 2. Aha. So right here, if her state is Chun-Li mirror idle, her hit boxes should correspond to that. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and paste these in. Kind of low on time. So P2 hurt boxes, P2 hit boxes, P2 push boxes are going to correspond to these Chun-Li mirror idle. Okay, and so that's great. And likewise, the hit boxes for the Chun-Li idle state are going to be the same. So go ahead and pause if you want to, if you need to, and go ahead and type those out. And let's see if that made a difference. Okay, and so we have collision there. And we have collision there. And it works perfectly. So what we want to do from here is we want, and we're building this single feature, which is the fireball, and we're building it throughout the code base, and we'll just add those things in as we hit them. And so the next thing we need to add in is Chun-Li actually getting damaged by this. Not damaged, but maybe her animation changes because she should no longer be in the idle animation. She should actually be getting hit and showing that she is being hit. And also making a sound that shows that she's getting hit as well. So this is where we're headed. If this is something that's interesting to you and you are enjoying and you want to see this thing fully fleshed out, go ahead and like and subscribe. Maybe comment if there was something that you wished I would have explained a little bit better, or whatever. Okay, and so we will pick this up in the next video, and I'll see you then.